Hey guys, today I want to talk you through the activity I've given with the taxi cabs. What I've got here is the doc that I've asked you to work on and to submit. And I'm going to go through the first example and then show a little bit about how to do the merit part. And there's a few things there that I think are important to know. So the first part, there's two pieces of information we need to know. The first is the flag 4, which is how much it costs to get into the taxi. So that's when you've gone 0 kilometers. What does it cost? And then the charge per kilometer. So when I fill out my table, my flag 4 is going to be the cost that I pay when I've gone 0 kilometers. That's going to be 2. And that's my Y value. So then I want to go up probably in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I know that for each kilometer, I'm going to go up by 2.5. So that's going to be 4.5, 7, 9.5, I think I'm doing this right, and 12, 14.5, and 17, I think. Have I done that right? Yeah. Okay, so each time I'm going up 2.5 and I'm starting at 2. So my rule is going to be y equals 2.5, because that's my gradient, that's how much I'm going up every time, plus my starting point, which was 2. So it's y equals 2.5x plus 2. So the total cost for the taxi ride will be $2.50 per kilometer traveled plus $2 to start. So it's important that we get to convert between the table, the equation, and a sentence that makes sense. The next step is to model that on a graph. And the best thing to use is Desmos. So if I come to Desmos here, I can start graphing. And all I have to do is on the top left corner, type in my equation. So it's y equals 2.5x plus 2. I can just type it in and I get the graph here. And you may want to zoom in and play around a little bit to see what's actually happening. So I got my kilometers along the bottom. And this is my cost at the top. So I can also play with the data here and say, I want to see up to $20. So this can change my scale a little bit. I can just play around with this. So now I can see if I go 5 kilometers, it should be costing me, let's have a look, $14.50. Because that's the dollars over here, and this is my kilometers. So I have my chart. You can take a screenshot and paste that in here, and that's done. The next step is then answer a few questions based on that. So Marty is hiring cheap cabs to take 3 girls to netball game. If they're going 8 kilometers, all I have to do is write out my equation. So it's 2.5 times 8 plus 2. So that should be $16, $20, $22, I think. Let me just check. I can check that here, 8. And my point here is 8 and 22. So we go up and across. And that seems right. So it's going to be y equals 22. Now, if I know it costs 14, I want to find out how far they traveled. I have to say, therefore, it must be 2.5x plus 2 equals 14. So I've got to solve that by undoing step by step. So my first step is going to go minus 2 from both sides. So I then get 2.5x equals 12. And then I have to divide both sides by 2.5. And I should get an answer of, let's have a look there. I can also use my graph. So I've got a 14 here. My answer should be 4.8 kilometers. X equals 4.8. So that's one example there that I've gone through. Now what I want to do is, for the next one, my equation is going to be 2.2x plus 1.8. So if I put a next one in here, I go y equals 2.2x plus 1.8. And what I notice is that these lines actually never cross. So for the merit section, I've asked you to find the point of intersection, but there actually isn't one, unfortunately. So that we'll do that in the next activity. So what we can just say is this blue line is always cheaper. So if I look here, 2 cheap cabs for the merit section, is always going to be cheaper. So too cheap cabs is always cheaper. The lines do not intersect. That's all we have to do. And then the next task I give you, hopefully I'll give you 2 lines that do intersect, and we can work on that. So for example, let's say 2 cheap cabs, actually it was $3 was the flag for, so it starts at 3. We could then find a point of intersection and say that this one is cheaper up to this point, and then the other taxi cab is cheaper afterwards. So we're using that graph to try and tell that point, and that's going to be the merit part of this assessment. So that's all for now. Hope that's helped a little bit for you to get a head start. Please keep asking questions, and I'll give you more videos like this to try and explain things later on.